My name is Kobeli Lihaba, but everyone pronounces my name as Kobeli Lihaba.
You've got a very special young man who is plying his trade in the racing industry beautifully at the moment, and we're going to learn a bit today about how he got to where he is today and what makes him tick. His name is Kobeli James Lihaba, young apprentice from the South African Jockey Academy.
West Side Story though on the inside has the length to spare, and it's West Side Story going on for the win. Duncan House, Kobeli Lihaba. And Kanyisa Ndlela hangs right in. Etiquette down the inside. Billy of T. Madison Blues and Shoefella taking late. Etiquette and Kanyisa Ndlela. Etiquette won it. Morgan Le Fay's getting going late on. Morgan Le Fay down the inside. Sleek as silk. Kobeli Lihaba gets sleek as silk to motor on the left hand side.
I was in grade 7 when I started riding horses. I found a father who called Stoffel, the one who brought me at the academy. He's the one who taught me about horse racing and stuff, how to ride a horse and techniques. So all those stuff is the one who taught me. So I really enjoying what I am doing up until now. I was watching a race in TV and I saw Smanga winning. So I said, hey, I want to try this thing. Like here, I saw a post on South Africa Jockey Academy. Then I applied to be a jockey, but unfortunately, my weight was an issue. Then I applied to be a walk rider. On the side of the family, I grew up with my grandmother and Mr. Stoffel because both my parents passed away while I was still young. So they were behind me and guiding me to do good things, even though I was a naughty boy, always bring troubles at home. But they've been supporting me. How I learned to ride horses, it was difficult. And I thought I wasn't gonna make it because they taught me tough. I didn't like my first time riding a horse, they just put me on. They didn't tell me do this. We were just walking. Then Mr. Stoffel just hit it and ran away with me. Then I fell. I thought, nah, I'm not gonna ride this thing anymore. The following morning, he put me on again in the same horse. In my mind, I thought I'm gonna run away here. This father is abusing me, but luckily was giving me to don't be a fear and don't be scared of the horses. So the following day, same thing. But now he said, I'm not gonna hit it, we'll just go. But you know, when you start riding horse, you don't have a balance. Like when you trot and stuff, I said, okay, won't do nothing. I relaxed. When we turn home, but we're walking, the feet is out the hands. He hit it again. Now he gave it me, take me straight to the stables. I hit with my thing here, my head. Then after that, I said, nah, if I die, I die. I just gave up. I said, if I die, I die. It's how I end up being so strong and don't be feared to ride horses anymore. Where I stay is not far from where the horses they were racing. So every Sunday I used to go there and watch racing. And Mr. Stoffel saw me my height and cause I was skinny. So he said, oh, I always see you here. You like horses? I said, yes. I said, okay, I will try to help you. It's how we met with Mr. Stoffel. Then Friday he came to ask to my grandparents to come to stay with him in his farm and teach me with horses and stuff, so I can get out from where I'm staying, because it's a dangerous place. So he just took me to his farm. Bush racing, I will say, is almost similar to this racing, because in bush racing the only problem is they're only paying first horse. For example, in the big races, if they're racing like for 250,000, they don't pay second and third. The whole money goes to number one. And also, there's not too much field. It's like 4, 5. When it's like lots of horses, it's 7, because we don't have pens there. We just jump by our own. There's no rules. If your horse didn't jump, it's not our problem. Also, there's no rails. We can just cut the corners because everyone wants the money. That's the problem only, but everything is the same. People also, they bet in there. The speed is still the same here because we got 1012 like here up until 2, but we don't have 24, we only end up to 2000. So the speed, we jumped. If you know your horse, you can go flat out if like you want, but if you know your horse, you must save it. And it's how I beat most of them because they like to go and flat out the whole way. Me, I just save my horse. When we come to the finish line, I just pick up my one and catch them flat dead.
Our first impression came a while before he actually joined the academy, where he came for a test, like a trial. We obviously heard about him through, I can't remember what his name was. He brought him to us, someone up in Harrismith. He had obviously done a little bit of rural or bush racing before he came to us. So he came to us with a bit of experience. So our first impression of him was very good. He could obviously sit on a horse. He had very good balance. That we noticed he had a nice seat. And all we had to do was just polish him up a little bit. I think one thing that we've noticed is that they come with quite good horse knowledge. First of all, knowledge about the horse. They're not scared. I think their racing over there is a little bit different. It's quite hard. It's not as neat and tidy as what our racing is. You got to be hard to do that sort of racing. So, people like James came with a lot of experience. All we had to do was just teach him our way, basically. I think what differentiates James from other apprentices is he's a hard worker. He works hard in the mornings. He reads races quite well. He plays his horses well, and he just gets better and better over time. You've got to be mentally strong as a jockey. It's not just being fit and able to ride a horse. You've got to be able to read a race. You've got to know pace. You've got to be fit. There's a lot of things that go into it, and all these things are provided at the Jockey Academy. So as long as they apply their mind, they can all become good jockeys.
Shot of Courage with the hood on. Gate 4, hood removed, set.
My first winner was on a horse called Shot of Courage. He's got a one eye on his right. I rode it a previous race and I ran third. Then I walked it and I watched the form. I saw my horse got a much speeder than the other horse that I was competing with, and also it's got a finish. So I just know that I'm gonna win, and everything went according to our plan to jump and go to the front and sit up until 300, and no horse joined me early. And when I asked it just gave me a kick straight away.
300 to go, Shot of Courage still under the hands, leads it. Benny in the area, Victor Rail, Stars in Heaven on the inside. How much in the tank for Shot of Courage? Benny in the area, Cotton Ron's trying to close it in. Shot of Courage still leads it past the 200 metre though, and it's Shot of Courage going on. Shot of Courage will win it.
James, it gives me great pleasure to talk to you, and the smile says it all. Mr. James Kobeli Lihaba, we're going to remember that name, and this is the first win of Please God Many.
Yes, I would like to say thank you to Mr. Pretorius and the owners for giving me this opportunity, and the academy and the riding masters.
Tell us about the race. It looked pretty straightforward. You went out, dictated fractions, and what was going through your mind up the home straight? You just seemed to keep going and keep going. What was going through your mind up the straight?
So I saw it the moment it went in front, that I could, oh, this is my race, because the pace was very
Easy pace?
Yes, and I was still sitting up until 300, then I sent it and it responds to me quickly.
Well, it's your first winner and a moment that you're going to treasure forever. You're going to watch the replay over and over again. We wish you all the very best in your career, and now that you've broken the ice, let the floodgates flow for you. Well done.
Thank you very much, sir.
Lovely. Congratulations. Well done, James. James Kobeli Lihaba.
First impression of James was a very quiet guy, very reserved. I saw when he rode a horse for the first time, he had a natural talent on a horse. He's been around my yard for about 2 years now, and he's always very punctual, does his job, and he's developed into a good rider. I gave James his first chance early on in his career when he still claimed 4. I felt he had an advantage in that he was a heavy, quite a big guy for claiming 4, and he had a lot more strength than the younger apprentices. worked in our favour with the horses because you could box around the handicaps with the horses, and he delivered the goods.
1,000 metres they, sprinting away from the 1,000 metre marker. Hot Pull was quick to go, Magically is right there, Maquette on the outside, Red Roses 2. Top of the lane they come, and Hot Pull the leader from Maquette and Magically. Red Roses 2 on the outside. Certainly War Empress trying to get into the race down the inside, African Folklore. Hot Pull, but Maquette now comes forward, and it's Maquette who hits the front on the outside, Certainly and Magically, but Maquette goes home by a length and a half. And it's Maquette the leader, Certainly trying to close it down, but Maquette doing enough. Number 2 the winner, and that's Maquette, the mare by Red Ray, Duncan Howes. And the apprentice we were talking about this morning, Lihaba.
My relationship with James can be very volatile at times because he's young, doesn't realise how difficult it is yet to create a happy medium where people are happy with you riding horses. As we all know, horse racing is in a very difficult situation at the moment. So owners are looking for top jockeys on their horses, and it becomes a lot more difficult to give inexperienced riders rides in races. And the first mistake they make, they want a senior jockey on the horse to produce the goods. However, I've found with James, we've had our arguments, but he's always come back to a situation and tried harder next time out. He's still young, so it takes a lot longer than the other riders. What people don't realise is the senior riders today made the same mistakes in the past. And when you're a racehorse trainer, you're always trying to handicap your horses to win races, especially horses that are slightly limited in ability. You're trying to get more wins out of them. So people don't realise the 4 kilo allowance, how it gets horses into a weaker race, giving the rider a superior ride in the race, which makes you look very good as a jockey. However, once you have to compete on an even pecking level, that can't be done anymore. So now you have to ride horses with equal ability at the same weights as a senior jockey, which doesn't give you an edge on him. Now you have to take a step up in yourself and realize how hard it actually is to beat the top riders who have the selection of the best rides in the race. So you have to try even harder to try and secure that win. And that's what makes a top jockey. James's involvement's going to go through a very crucial stage at this point in time. He's lost all his apprentice allowances. He's at a stage now where he's only been in his apprenticeship a very short time, and he's achieved a huge amount in a very short space of time. He's got a lot more to live up to than a younger guy who hasn't achieved what he has done in such a short space of time. So it's a very difficult period for him because he's got a lot expected of him. So I think as a young person, it plays a lot on your mindset and can lead to you making mistakes that you never made before. So I'm trying to help him as much as possible. I've continued to give him opportunities. I think if he can mold himself into being a professional, he's really got a very bright future ahead of himself.
My first triple, it was in PE. Two was for Mrs. Kelly Mishley and one for Mr. Kevin Smith. Also, I thought I was going to get like 2 winners in a day, but luckily I got triple. The other one got a chance. Can't remember. Oh, Sea of Tears. It come here from Mr. Kesby. I know that was going to win.
And away they go. Counters of the Stars drops off shortly after the start. Further back in the field is Keen on Kelly, then comes Winning Grace past the 400 metre mark. In front is Sea of Tears, picked it up and gone a length clear. My True Love, Winning Grace is behind that. Then comes Nairobi further back in the field, but it's Sea of Tears in front from My True Love. Then comes Winning Grace, but Sea of Tears holds a 3-length advantage into the closing stages, and Sea of Tears has won it.
And the other one, the grey horse, I can't remember his name.
Gates Fly and they sent on their way. Silvery Blue down the insides, running on well, and Silvery Blue got to the lead from Treasure Hunt, and then comes Aerial View, and Silvery Blue won it.
I just know that I was thinking to get 2 winners, but I got 3.
Back in the field there behind that on the outside, Zatara Magic, then came Cherry Anu, further back Brendan James. 350 meters to go, and Jaeger Moon has regained the advantage. Light Without Peace in Our World down the inside, running on. Cherry Anu's down the middle. Then came Brendan James. Magical Midlands right in there as well, but it's Jaeger Moon. Brendan James on the outside. Down the inside is Peace in Our World, and Light Without, but it's Peace in Our World. Brendan James comes fast, but Peace in Our World got there.
I was happy. I was happy to get my first triple, and also I was hoping to get more rides and more winners because they saw that I can ride. The support in PE was good since from my claim 4 up until I done with my claim. Mr. Gavin Smith and Mrs. Kelly Mishley, they were helping me a lot with my winners there in PE because I lost my claim there. Let me say most of my claim I lost in PE.
Weight management is important for jockeys because not all jockeys can ride at any weight. So some are heavier, some are lighter. The lighter jocks can obviously ride at the bottom end of the scale. Those that are a bit heavier can only ride the top end of the scale. So management, weight management is hugely important. Some battle to manage it, some don't battle to manage it. Some don't have any weight issues at all. Some spend their lives sweating and eating lettuce leaves. So managing their weight is probably one of the biggest, barring their medical aid and their medical cover and insurances and all that, their weight management is probably one of their biggest, most important things for their career.
We have a gym here at the academy, so like Tuesday and Friday I go to gym at my own time to get more fit. Even at track we get fit because of riding more than 20 horses a day. You're still training.
Look, yeah, I think you got to be mentally strong as a jockey. It's not just being fit and able to ride a horse. You got to be able to read a race. You got to know pace. You got to be fit. There's a lot of things that go into it, and all these things are provided at the Jockey Academy. So as long as they apply their mind, they can all become good jockeys.
It's tough for them, but I think if they work hard and if they show that they've got some talent and there's weight, their weight is a good substitute, then they'll get rides. But it's not easy to get rides. Jockeys and apprentice jockeys, it's a tough job out there.
I come back from Harrismith in a rural place called Kalanyoni and at a farm, Kiatsepa. So lots of kids there, they drop out of school and they're using drugs too much. So I wish to be a role model to them so they can look after me and say, so they can know that what they're doing is wrong and they can still change their roads. Because even me, I come from there, but luckily I never smoke, I never used drugs. But I was just a troublemaker where I come from. But I changed my life so I can be a better person.
It's not as easy as it looks. You have to be dedicated, and any job in horse racing requires dedication. You may not be the best at what you do, and you might be just under the top level, but if you stick and grind at your job, you will get success. And you will find, as with any professional sportsman, the more you practice, the better you get. So if there's one word of advice for young riders, big achievements in a short space of time don't mean anything, because people forget very quickly what you did achieve for them. It's a long-term thing, and you have to stay on top of your game for a long time.
I want to inspire the new generation by when they think about me, they think about someone who is a champion apprentice, champion rookie, and who won a Devon July. Even if they need some example, they can ask me, like, because even me at races now, if I don't know something, I the big jockeys like Smanga, Richard Fourie, and they're helping me and telling me where was my mistakes at races. So I'm trying to fix them. So I'm also wanna be like them, helping the new generation. So even if I'm not there, so they can remind me with the good things, not the bad ones. So when I started joining the academy, everyone where I come from, they said, nah, I won't make it because I was a naughty boy back home, and they say lots of people think that I won't make it. That's the challenges I was facing, but I proved them wrong. I made it, and I'm proud of myself.